real quick though, like look, got my little herb garden there with like one little rosemary plant that is likely going to die, but hey, it's the bed, it's the plants, you know. Got our little shelf we installed there, our shelf wall. Okay, got my Bible on top of the Way of Superior Man right there, and then my notebook, the fire, my sleeping bag, upgraded wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then not to mention the road view, which I'll show y'all, like cars passing by when it happens. But this is, bro, we get out here. I'm gonna raise y'all up. I can't get like the same level of shot as before, but yeah, that'll have to do. Let me just read First Kings right quick. Bro, is the cable like in the way? Oh no. Yeah, you can see it still. Ugh. It's gonna have to do right there. This is not the monthly movie or anything, but this is gonna be a long video. So, where was I in First Kings? Today is the 7th, so 7th chapter. That's how I've been doing it. Basically, morning is a chapter of Proverbs, evening is a chapter of First Kings. Now, let me make sure I'm in frame, because I'm not sure I am. Yeah, I'm probably... I think I am. I'll scoot. There we go. Hopefully y'all can see me. Yeah, y'all should be able to. Well, I need to read. So, 1 Kings chapter 7. Basically, so far it's been about King David transferring, like, him being the king to his son Solomon. Solomon, he's decided to walk in the way the Lord has wanted him to, and God gave Solomon the option of anything, really. And Solomon chose to be wise. And there's no other like him. There will be no other like him. Solomon, legit, the wisest human, I guess besides Jesus, to walk the face of earth. So, chapter 7. And so far, a bit of background, he's just been building like I don't know, you shouldn't say church, but like the house of the Lord, a worship place, you know, a temple. So, chapter 7. But Solomon took 13 years to build his own house, so he finished all his house. He also built the house to the forest of Lebanon. Its length was 100 cubits, its width was 50 cubits, and its height was 30 cubits, with 4 rows of cedar pillars and cedar beams on the pillars. Oh, okay. And it was paneled with cedar above the beams that were on 45 pillars, 15 to a row. There were windows with beveled frames and 3 rows, and windows was opposite window and 3 tiers. And all the doorways and doorposts had rectangular frames. And window was opposite window and 3 tiers. I don't know why it's saying window as in a singular window, but oh well. He also made the hall of pillars. Its length was 50 cubits. Its width was 30 cubits, and in the front of them was a portico with pillars and a canopy was in front of them. Then he made a hall for the throne, the hall of judgment, where he might judge. It was paneled with cedar from floor to ceiling. And the house where he dwelt had another court inside the hall of like workmanship. Okay, similar. Solomon had also made a house like this hall for Pharaoh's daughter, which he had taken as wife. Pharaoh's daughter whom he had... all these were of costly stones, cut to size, trimmed with saws, inside and out, from the foundation to the eaves. I learned what eaves was thinking about the future shop I want to build, so that's good to know. Where was I? The great court was enclosed with 3 rows of hewn stones and a row of cedar beams. So were the inner court of the house of the Lord and the vestibule of the temple. Now King Solomon sent and brought Huram from Tyre. He was also son of a widow from the tribe of Naphtali. And his father was a man of Tyre, a bronze worker. He was filled with wisdom and understanding and skill in working with all kinds of bronze work. So he came to King Solomon and did all his work. He cast 2 pillars of bronze, each one 18 cubits high. I need to look at cubits, bro. That seems like a lot of bronze. And a line of 12 cubits measured the circumference of each. Then he made 2 capitals of cast bronze to set on the tops of the pillars. The height of one capital was 5 cubits. The height of the other capital was 5 cubits. He made a lattice network with wreaths of chainwork for the capitals which were on top of the pillars. 7 chains for one capital and 7 for the other capital. So he made the pillars and 2 rows of pomegranates above the network all around to cover capitals that were on top, and thus he did for the other capital. The capitals were on top of the pillars, and the hall were in the shape of lilies, 4 cubits. The capitals on the 2 pillars also had pomegranates above. By the convex surface which was next to the network, there were 200 such pomegranates in rows of each end of the capitals all around. Then he set up the pillars by vestibule of the temple. He set up the pillar on the right and called its name Jason. And he set up the pillar on the left and named it Boaz. The tops of the pillars were in the shape of lilies, so the work of the pillars was finished. And he made the sea of cast bronze 10 cubits from one brim to the other. It was completely round. The height was 5 cubits, and the line 30 cubits measured its circumference. Below its brim were ornamental buds encircling all around. Freaking bug. This is a long chapter about just building stuff. But the ornamental buds were cast in 2 rows when it was cast. It stood on 12 oxen, 3 looking towards the north, 3 looking towards the west, 3 looking towards the south, and 3 looking towards the east. The sea was set upon them, and all their back parts pointed inward. It was a handbreadth thick, and its brim was shaped like the brim of a cup. Like a lily blossom, it contained 2,000 bags. He also made 10 carts of bronze. 4 cubits was the length of each cart, 4 cubits its width, 3 cubits its height. And this was the design of the carts. They had panels, and the panels were between frames. On the panels that were between the frames were lions, oxen, and cerebral. And on the frames was a pedestal on top. Below the lions and oxen were wreaths of plated work. Every cart had 4 bronze wheels and axles of bronze. Its 4 feet had supports. Under the laver were supports of cast bronze beside each wreath. Its opening inside the crown at the top was 1 cubit in diameter, and the opening was round, shaped like a pedestal, 1.5 cubits outside diameter. And also on the opening were engravings, but the panels were square, not round. Under the panels were 4 wheels, and the axles of the wheels were joined to the cart. The height of a wheel was 1.5 cubits. The workmanship on the wheels was like the workmanship of a chariot wheel. Their axle pins, their rims, their spokes, and their hubs were all of cast bronze. There were 4 supports at the 4 corners of each cart. The supports were part of the cart itself. On top of the cart, at the height of 1/2 cubit, it was perfectly round. And on the top of the cart, its flanges and panels were on the same casting. On the plates of its flanges, on the plates he engraved cherubim, lions, palm trees, wherever there was clear space on each, with wreaths all around. Thus he made the 10 carts. All of them were of the same mold, 1 measure and 1 shape. Then he made 10 lavers of bronze. Each laver contained 40 bats, and each laver was 4 cubits. On each of the 10 carts was a laver. And he put 5 carts on the right side of the house and 5 carts on the left side of the house. He set the sea on the right side of the house towards the southeast. Huram made the lavers and the shovels and the bowls. So Huram finished doing all the work that he was to do for King Solomon for the house of the Lord. The 2 pillars, the 2 bowl-shaped capitals that were on top of the 2 pillars, the 2 networks covering the 2 bowl-shaped capitals, which were on top of the pillars, 400 pomegranates for each 2 networks, 2 rows of pomegranates for each network to cover the 2 bowl-shaped capitals that were on top of the pillars. The 10 carts and the 10 lavers of the carts, 1 seat and 12 oxen under the seat, the pots, the shovels, and the bowls. All these articles which Huram made for King Solomon for the house of the Lord were burnished bronze in the plain of the Jordan. The king had cast them in clay molds between Succoth and Zertan. And Solomon did not weigh all of the articles because there were so many. The weight of the bronze was not determined. Thus, Solomon had all the furnishings made for the house of the Lord, the altar of gold and the table of gold, which was the showbread, the lampstands of pure gold, 5 on the right side and 5 on the left, in front of the inner sanctuary, with the flowers and the lamps and the wick trimmers of gold, the basins, the trimmers, the bowls, the ladles, and the censers of pure gold, and the hinges of gold, both for the doors of the inner room, the most holy place, and for the doors of the main hall of the temple. So, all the work that King Solomon had done for the house of the Lord was finished, and Solomon brought in the things which his father David had dedicated, the silver and the gold and the furnishings. He put them in the treasuries of the house of the Lord. Man, that was a lot of just building stuff. A lot of just building stuff, my goodness. I think I'm going to use this in a separate video, so if you just listen to me yet, I congratulate you. What the heck did you just listen to? You just listened to some, like, ancient, couple thousand years old blueprints, my boy. So, yeah. Peace, I guess. Yeah, y'all have a good one.